Did you see Emmy got assaulted at TwitchCon? Yes. I'll cover that. I'll cover that first. Okay. Does anyone have the link to it? I mean, it's horrible. It's horrifying. It's exactly what Cutie, Valkyrie, Pokemon we're talking about. It's unfortunately not surprising, but yes, Emiru got assaulted by a random stalker at her meet and greet at TwitchCon. Trigger warning. Security pushed the perpetrator away, but then turned back and allowed the man to walk away. Emiru comes back shortly and continues meeting the fans. And that's crazy that like she still went into it. So here she is at her meet and greet, and then some guy just like forcibly tries to hug her and then and kiss her. It's sexual assault. For the record, what should happen in this situation, what should be happening in this situation is that you don't just let this person walk away or like ban them from the convention. You actually ban them from freedom. You ban them from walking around freely by fucking arresting them, because that's precisely what it is. Okay? What are we doing here? Like, because Twitch was like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry that this happened. I'm sorry. So Twitch was basically like, so sorry that this happened. We banned the person from the platform and we banned them from the convention. And it's like, yeah, ban them from being free. Ban them from being a free person that gets to walk around freely. I'm not like a very draconian person at all, but like, something should be happening in terms of apprehension, right? Am I crazy? That's like a pretty basic demand, right? This was a big problem last TwitchCon as well. Last TwitchCon, there were a lot of people that were trying to do fuck shit. Last TwitchCon, there were a lot of people who were trying to do fuck shit. Like a lot of kick streamers were like trying to get clips off to the best of their ability. Nick Pollum and I believe it was Nick and Wake, right? That got like also sexually assaulted by some random fucking kick streamer. And I don't necessarily know how to fix this convention stuff. Like, I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you deal with it, because like, what are you supposed to do? Like a psych evaluation before you decide whether or not someone is allowed at the convention or not? Like, I don't know. Right. But here's Emiru's statement. But anyway, here's the video. His security comes in and just pushes him off.
Whoa.
And takes him away, and then another staff takes Emiru away as well. Then the security rushes back to Emiru to make sure that she's okay. But in the process, I guess like they just kind of let him go, which is crazy. That's Emiru's security guy, not Twitch. Yes.
What the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened?
People are saying dude pulled a weapon. No, I think it was a pen. Watch out. Here, come on. Okay, get out of here. Go. Get out of town. Keep in mind, they banned our security guard last year because he held someone until Twitch security came to get them. Yeah. And this kind of stuff happens. There is also a literal culture around some streamers that actively either try to do this. There is a culture around streamers promoting this shit, for the record. Like, from my own personal experiences when I was at the DNC, like, there is, Destiny literally fucking egged this shit on and has at times straight up said, Hassan deserves to be shot and killed. And he has actually promoted people in his community that have approached me in different instances. Frogan has been harassed by another one of Destiny's friends and content creators as well. You do, I do not. There is not a single instance where I have ever fucking thought that this was appropriate, especially because not only do I sometimes am on the receiving end of this shit, I also think it's like a objectionable behavior. It's horrible behavior. So, like, there are literal content creators who unironically do this kind of shit and promote this kind of shit. And it's really fucking gross. There are content creators who themselves engage in this kind of behavior as well. Now, obviously, there's a difference between like a content creator that knows the other content creator and is like on, friendly and is friendly with the other content creator and they're like collaborating or whatever versus like a random content creator who is just like stalking someone. That's the difference. Like there are people who get stalked pretty fucking aggressively. And the fact that Emiru knew that this could potentially happen, because as I say all the time, like women have it the worst on the internet, okay? They have it the absolute fucking worst. There are unhinged stalkers that go crazy over this shit. And there are a lot of like Discord servers and like cyber stalking groups that are dedicated to female content creators, especially. And in those cyber stalking communities, there's like this weird environment where people will justify this kind of behavior. It's incredibly weird. It's incredibly scary. And it is incredibly fucked up. There are female content creators who've been killed all around the world, ironically enough. There was one recently in Korea that was assassinated by a fucking stalker. There was one in Mexico that was assassinated by a stalker. And of course, here in the United States of America, we have Christina Grimmie, the famous story of Christina Grimmie as well. So like, it is so crazy. When I say ironically enough, I meant like even in places where people don't have guns, it's still terrifying. So yeah, Korean streamer Yoonji Ah has been found dead after attacked by a longtime viewer who donated almost $70,000 to her. The incident occurred after she tried to cut ties with a man in his 50s. So it is obviously completely unacceptable. And besides that, I mean, that is the basic, that's the immediate take, but it's not the only take. Okay. Not only is it completely unacceptable, but I think we really need to reevaluate the culture around this type of stuff. We really need to reevaluate the culture around this type of shit and reconsider how some content creators do egg this shit on. Okay. There are content creators out there who absolutely promote this kind of behavior within their own communities. There are content creators who basically, they call it A-logging, okay? Like the lolcow shit, the A-logging shit. There are entire streamer content creator communities that are dedicated to doing this kind of stuff, obsessively stalking people and using their community to do that, and then having like real life impact as well on top of like the normalization structure that fucking exists on the internet when content creators are doing it, where it makes people feel more comfortable behaving in this kind of way. Okay. Here's Emiru's statement. She says, "Hello everyone, I'm okay, and thank you all for the kind messages. Sorry I cannot respond to them all. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me in my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out that it could have been a lot worse. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this, but to tell you honestly, I'm a lot more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. The security in the clip who reacts is my own security. It's true. My favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to the police at a past TwitchCon. However, there were at least 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since they don't even appear in the frame. LOL. The woman who was walking me away is my own personal manager, and behind the booth, the only 2 people who were checking in on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the TwitchCon staff came to ask what happened or if I was okay. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and immediately laughing and moving on to talking about something else. So if no one was checking if I was okay or if I needed anything and they let the guy run away initially, I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the event safe was doing, lol. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me, and it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. That is insane. I have a lot more I want to say, but I will say it on stream later today instead of writing a book on here. Thank you guys again. Sorry you all had to see that. This is definitely my last TwitchCon, and as sad as me to say, as a 10-year off and on attendee of TwitchCon. I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything is going to be okay. Twitch proving all streamers not wanting to go to the con, correct? That sucks. Yeah. I mean, look, the reality of the matter is every content creator, no matter how big or small, especially female content creators, know that this is the reality. Know that this is something that can happen. So if you actually see a female content creator, especially at one of these conventions, remember that they know all of that and they came in spite of all of that because they still wanted to see their fans. Okay? Like there is always this target on people's backs regardless. There's this target on like large content creators' backs as well, but it's not to the same degree. It's not to the same severity. It's as it is for how consistent this is for female content creators. That's why for years and years, I have told you over and over again, whenever people are like, Hassan, you get harassed all the time. Do you feel like you're the most harassed person? I'm like, no. The average female content creator is cyber stalked and harassed way worse than I am. Okay? It's just like a normal, I know this from behind the scenes. Okay? It is so insanely fucked up. And there is absolutely a culture of normalizing this kind of behavior. You need to understand. There is a culture of normalizing this kind of behavior as well. There are people who literally get together in cyberstalking forums and in cyberstalking Discord servers, and they literally talk to one another about how perfectly valid this obsession is. Okay? And this obsession, when paired up with a lot of people who have a lot of mental illness, actually ends up turning into situations exactly like the one that Emiru encountered. Okay? So just remember that. And there are abso-fucking-lutely content creators who egg this shit on. Okay? It's a massive, massive problem. And when content creators actually lean into this in any way, shape, or form, when they lean into this in any way, shape, or form, they normalize this kind of behavior. They normalize the cyber stalking. They normalize, or when content creators themselves do it, like a lot of kick streamers, okay? A lot of kick streamers have basically made it their content to behave like this, okay? Like a lot of smaller streamers that want to make a name for themselves have turned around and made it their literal fucking content to behave like this. And it ends up creating a permission structure where this kind of activity is not seen as freak shit and there is no pushback, and it becomes a situation that is like impossible to contend with. Okay? There's also a environment of there's an environment of misogyny as well. It's everything. It's rape culture, it's misogyny, it's everything that intersects. Anything for the clip seems to be the norm right now, and it's fucking gross. Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that, like, the people in front of the camera are also human beings. Okay? I know it comes across as though that is not the case, because you're like, oh, you guys are profoundly fortunate. And also, there is this sense of entitlement where people are like, what do you mean? You wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for me and others like me. You owe me shit. Right? You owe me everything. You owe me everything I need to know about your life. You owe me every single thing that I want out of you. And for female content creators, it literally goes beyond where this kind of sexual assault takes place from time to time. I don't want this. I hope the one good thing that comes out of this is that people actually really check themselves and really reconsider what kind of spaces that they occupy and really reconsider how they behave on the internet. Because nobody deserves this kind of, nobody deserves this experience at all. No one. It's so fucking unacceptable. Because I know that for a lot of people, they look at this and they go, whatever, she's fucking rich. It's like, okay, dude, it's insane. You are just trying to justify that kind of behavior, justify that kind of like cyber stalker ass behavior if you ever say something like that. Anyway, this should be a moment of self-reflection. I see people that say that she is the reason why that fan did that because that's how she built a community. No thoughts, just yeah, exactly. Luckily, there hasn't been that big of a pushback of this sort that I have seen in public, because everyone is like, everyone is very frustrated right now about what happened. But if you think it is a crazy thing to say, for the record, yes, it is a crazy thing to say, but you need to understand something, okay? While it is a crazy thing to say, people do say it, okay? It's a crazy thing to say, and people do say it. Anyway, people have a tendency to automatically hit the victim blaming notes. They love doing that shit. They love insta-locking. They love insta-locking victim blame narratives. Anyway. Shit account, but the guy just walked out like it's nothing. That's crazy. He walked out of the fucking... That's the guy. He just walked out of the fucking front gates after doing that. That is crazy. Look. Even my wife argued that IRL should be advice this behavior. I had to argue that the lack of accessible mental health benefits of healthcare is a bigger issue. Yeah, dude, no, that's insane. That is insane. Emiru gets attacked at TwitchCon, and there are still chatters in here trying to drama bait.
I give it back. So, seeing meet and greet was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, he's right there.
That was fun.
He just walks past them. Cyber stalking leads to actual physical stalking is what I'm saying. But unfortunately, neither is like, there is no real method of stopping this. Okay? There is no real method of stopping this. We have no legislation. We have no mechanisms of apprehension. It's also not really taken seriously as well. It's really fucked up. Like, it's one thing to just say, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. This is bad. But like, there is an environment, there is a culture on the internet that has tried to justify this kind of shit over and over again. Like, there is a permission structure that we are supposed to maintain as a mechanism of like social enforcement. And I feel like the more vicious we become, the more ruthless we become online, the more people find ways of justifying this kind of behavior. I cannot believe that this person did not actually get... I cannot believe that this person did not actually immediately get apprehended by law enforcement. Like, how are you not arrested? How do you get to walk out of the fucking... Like, you do this to... When you do this to anyone, let alone like a famous person on camera, but just like anyone in general, you should be arrested. And I guess that also is another problem with law enforcement as well. They're just like very bad at dealing with this stuff. Yeah, you would be arrested for doing this to a mall Santa. Exactly. Anyway, fucking gross. All right. Here's Twitch's statement on it. The safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. We are coordinating with the impacted creators team and, per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in point, and we'll have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. If you RSVP'd for a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for the remainder of the event. Twitch has zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. It is really important to us that our creators enjoy their experience at TwitchCon and feel safe. I don't even know if it's just like, I don't even know if it's possible. I don't even know if it's possible. And we know that the dude just straight up walked out. And we know from Emiru's statement that like she did not immediately get looked after at all. What happened? I don't know. Lol, I have a job. Emiru, who is one of the top female content creators on this platform, was sexually assaulted at her meet and greet by a random fucking stalker weirdo loser. And then her own personal security actually pushed him and then went to take care of Emiru. And from what I understand, like the last security person that did this at the last TwitchCon that actually held the stalker last time was actually banned from working security at this TwitchCon. And as you can see in this incident, he was able to fucking walk freely, walk out of the doors. Here's the statement on that with Jason.
I don't think that's true. Okay, maybe I shouldn't talk about this, whatever, who cares. I had a security guard.
What do you think the punishment should be? Jail, brother. What do you mean? Jail, jail, jail. Sexual assault equals jail, okay? Cyber stalking should also have some kind of fucking penalty, at least like mental health evaluation and mental health treatment. And then actual physical stalking in the real world, even before the sexual assault, should also have some kind of repercussions. But this is the maximalist thing that you can do. This is he sexually assaulted her, okay? He should be in jail. What the fuck? You do a crime, you go to fucking jail. Or at least that's how it's supposed to be.
2 years ago, where there was a guy following me around TwitchCon, and he like asked him to stop multiple times. My guard asked him, and the guy wouldn't stop. So he grabbed the guy, but he didn't.
Like the craziest part about this is every fucking content creator has experiences like this. Every single one. Every single one. Okay? FYI, the person who made this tweet made a death threat against you. This person, Jay Lee plays games. I mean, whatever, dude. I can eat it. I can deal with it. Fucking, there's a long list. Okay, if I were to look through every fucking person on the internet that has like, anyway, what I was saying is, I mean, this is a part of that same culture of normalizing this kind of behavior, for the record. Like, it's just, this plays a role, okay? This plays a role in normalizing this kind of behavior, especially if you're a fucking content creator. Especially if you are a content creator and you have some semblance of a community. When you say stuff like that, your fucking freak-ass parasocial fans are also going to see that and be like, oh, this is awesome. We can all do this. We should all do this. Okay? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The story is not about me. I'm just saying every single content creator has experienced stuff like this. And the content creators themselves that also lean into stuff like this guy apparently, don't realize that they're also participating in this culture. And they're expanding the permission structure for people to do this kind of thing. Okay? You are emboldening the fucking freaks. You are emboldening. You are behaving like a freak yourself, and you are also emboldening the fucking freaks. I'm sure this used to happen to celebrities way before content creation too. Of course. Of course this used to happen to celebrities all the fucking time. The difference is, however, that celebrities at least were like somewhat inaccessible as opposed to the way content works now. And when you're always on, and when you're constantly, when you constantly have a back and forth feedback loop with your audiences, the parasocial feelings are heightened. The sense of entitlement is heightened. You understand that, like, the person that you're seeing behind the screen is not dissimilar to you in many ways and are accessible. Okay? The internet did not invent this issue. The internet simply streamlined this issue. And over the last couple of years, okay, I would go so far as to say that, especially with Twitter becoming 4chan poll openly, it has made people feel even more comfortable and confident behaving in this way, because people get rewarded when they behave this way on Twitter now. And that has had an impact on all of the other platforms as well. That has caused other content creators to also lean in on this kind of behavior, this kind of like antisocial, personality disordered behavior. And all of that has made it infinitely worse. All of that has made things infinitely worse.
Hurt him. He was just holding the guy until like the con security came. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, because your security guard touched him, he's like permabanned from the venue forever. But he didn't even hit him or anything. He just like held him while they waited for like the police to come. And,
what the fuck?
And it was like my favorite security guard. I can't have him at TwitchCon anymore. I was just like, okay, like it was so sad because he did like everything.
I don't know, man. Like, even after the Charlie Kirk stuff, like, people didn't dial it back at all. People did not even remotely think to dial it back at all. They just went all systems go. This is actually this is a product of the violent Antifa left, and we have to fucking kill them. We have to do whatever we can to fucking apprehend them. Like we just, I don't know. We have no like cultural safeguards at all. We have no social safeguards at all. Have you ever met Emiru? Yes, of course I've met Emiru. I've done content with Emiru. Why would the security guard be banned? Because the security guard apprehended a con attendee by the eyes of the Twitch executives, I guess. It's a unique situation because given that there are no safeguards around this sort of thing, and there is no like real legislation to try and deal with this sort of thing, you can't even fucking talk about it. Some content creators do talk about their own personal experiences every now and then, but most people don't. I'm telling you, what you hear from streamers about their stalkers or about incidents like this, like whether it be cyber stalking or directly like physically stalking or directly physically assaulting someone, sexually assaulting them, what you see and what you hear is simply the fucking tip of the iceberg. Okay? Same thing goes with swatting. Same thing goes with cyber stalkers and real life stalkers showing up at your house. People don't talk about it. And the reason why content creators don't talk about it, the dark side of Twitch streaming in general, is because there's not really too much you can do about it. And because there's not really too much you can do about it, when you talk about it, it amplifies it and it creates copycats. Even subreddits that are cyber stalking shitholes like LSF that are purposely directed to the Streisand effect comes from that, literally. Okay? But even cyber stalking shitholes like LSF have made a rule for years and years not to show when someone gets swatted. They delete those clips on purpose because that only creates copycats. That only creates more people that want to do that sort of thing. Not to bring it back to you, but isn't there like a weird ass stalking Discord server devoted to tracking information about your parents? Yes. And not just my parents. It's just everything. Yes. But once again, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's like, it is what it is. There's not anything you can do about it. You just have to live your regular life. Because the one thing that these fucking dipshits want out of you more than anything else is to impact your life in some way. Just as you chat in the chat and the streamer sees your chat and reads it out loud and has that kind of brief interaction with you, some people take it one step beyond that, where they want to control your life or they want to impact your life in a negative fashion. Okay? That's what this is. It's almost like a puppet master. People do this kind of thing because they want some power over you. They have a sense of entitlement. They have a sense of unearned entitlement over everything that you are, your physical person, And on top of that, they want to control your life. They want to make sure that they can impact your life in a significant fashion. It is deeply disturbed. Seems like you have this exact talk every 3 to 4 months. Yes. And these issues obviously persist. I mean, look, this is what I was trying to say is like, you know, the reason why this is, you know, all too common, same content creator who's like talking about how devastating this is, okay, has also leaned into it himself, right, to a certain degree. The reason why, the reason, I mean, this is so commonplace that like I didn't know who the fuck this guy was, and it turns out he's done this himself. Like, I'm trying to explain how normalized this is, right? It's just completely fucking normalized. And content creators that actually lean into this kind of shit are creating an environment that is less secure for themselves as well. Okay? They farm it. Remember, this happened to Nick Pollum last year. And it wasn't just like a stalker. It was also a stalker that was trying to make content out of it. It was a kick streamer that tried to make content out of this as well. I think Emiru was with Cinna and Valkyrie earlier this year when there was a stalker that came up to them and was like threatening to kill them. Yes. Yeah. And even after that, oh, it was Emiru's stalker. Emiru was the target of that stalking too. Yeah. Even after that, I saw a bunch of people that were defending that kind of behavior or victim blaming. There were people that were victim blaming, saying, how do you guys not have security? You don't expect to have, like, you know, stalkers show up. Obviously, duh. I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, that kind of victim blaming unironically expands the permission. People see that and they go, wow, I guess this is the appropriate thing to do. I guess I can even get clout off of doing this shit. Yeah, even when Cutie, Valkyrie, Pokimane, when they came out and said that they didn't want to attend because they were fearful, I saw people fucking shitting on them. There were people yelling at me when I said, I don't feel comfortable going to TwitchCon given the crosshairs that I have on me because I don't want to put other people's lives at risk by potentially, headlining an event so far ahead of time that I've said I was going to be at with, like, you know, ample planning and stuff like that. And then people yelled at me over that. They were like, oh, get the fuck out of here. You're a pussy. You should actually show up. Immediately proving why I said what I said. And specifically and openly stated why I was not going, right? So that if I had some fucking stalker psychopath with plenty of ample time for planning, not show up to TwitchCon and maybe even potentially harm others in the process. And then I went to France. After saying that, and then people turned around and yelled at me for that. They were like, oh, wow, this guy. First, they said I was a pussy, and I was actually afraid for my life, and I was lying and acting as though I was, being considerate of others. Then they fucking turned around and said, oh, wow, this guy went out to a fucking protest in France. He went to an event in France. I thought he was too scared to put others in harm's way. Maybe in France, they don't have fucking access to an arsenal of weapons in the same way that they do in the United States of America. Perhaps that is the reason why it's not the same. I mean, you literally got your ribs broke on TwitchCon not that long ago. That was also in France, ironically enough, but that wasn't like a stalker situation. That was just like, that was a car accident. Like I've said over and over again, women have it so much fucking worse in this industry. It is so fucked up. It's so unacceptable. And this is the byproduct of that. Okay? And what I mean by that is, like, I'll give you a little taste, okay? Now, you guys know from my experience being in here, I got, professional clip farms that clip me out of context all the time to try to invoke some kind of response, right? But women across the board, female content creators across the board have that no matter what. There were clip farms, some of which that are also dedicated to clip chimping me all the goddamn time and stalking my ass too, that are probably in here right now, that were professionally, look, this guy goes, victim Andy. Yeah, I'm not a victim. Okay, I don't give a shit. It is what it is. I'm just explaining something that I have also personally experienced while talking about a broader problem here that women experience so much worse. There were professional clip farms that would literally clip female content creators whenever they spoke about anything remotely sex related, even if it was talking about their own personal sexual assault, for example, and they would clip it out of context to make it seem like they were being salacious, make it seem as though they were being salacious and sensual with like shy emoji. They'd be like, oh, like Valkyrie talked about being sexually assaulted as a child. And these guys went and they fucking farmed it to be like, oh, she's actually talking about sex and slapped a fucking steak logo on it to try to fucking make money. And only after these content creators got together and said that they were going to pursue litigation did they stop doing that. Nobody actually turned around and said, hey, this is pretty disgusting. You should probably stop doing this. They only fucking stopped because they were forced to stop. This happens to minors in content creation and entertainment. I remember Billie Eilish was so sexualized despite wearing baggy clothes throughout her teens to avoid that very thing. Yeah. Anyway, like this is it. For a lot of people, this is their content, right? For a lot of people, this is what they enjoy. There are a lot of people who are incredibly sad in their own lives and they think, oh, awesome. Like, I'm gonna go in and like piss off this dude. And that is the enjoyment that I derive from this experience. It happens every day in here. Many of you have seen it. Many of you get mad at me for fucking even responding to it from time to time. Oh, you get stun locked too much. Right? But just understand that this is a constant part of this medium. And I personally don't even know what kind of legislation we could pass to try and stop it. I don't know. I think one of the best ways of dealing with this obviously is mental health. Ironically enough, it's very clear to me that people desperately need it, but who knows? Why aren't you tying this issue to communities that directly contributed to this problem? We all know which ones they are. This is Asmold's. I mean, because with Emiru specifically, I don't think that Asmongold's community has contributed to it. And you're just baiting this for drama. And anything that I say of this sort will be immediately fucking slapped on my own personal cyber stalking subreddit, LSF. And it will get, 20,000 fucking likes instantly because they bought that shit. And then that will literally fucking recycle drama over and over again. It probably will happen regardless. Now that I've even addressed it while saying that I don't think it's... I don't think this particular incident has anything to do with Asmongold. Also, remember, not only is this the tip of the iceberg for female streamers, This literally happens to random women in general. Like, this is not like just a Twitch streamer thing, okay? This is not just a Twitch streamer thing. This is just what happens to women in general as well in the real world, like regular ass women, nurses, teachers, students. I believe Emiru herself had a stalker in high school. Waitresses, you know, this is just a thing that happens. Really fucked up. When you were talking about how these were stalker incidents with traditional celebs and how society was harsher to these stalkers, one thing that's key is that the permission structure we perceive internet stalkers having is different, mostly because it's so creepily ubiquitous now. Exactly.